Hey YouTube, I'm back. Part 2. This is my opiate addiction story. I left off where I started using a needle. I was sitting around a bonfire and my buddy and his girlfriend called me, asked me if I had any Dilaudid or any pills, and I said, yeah, come on over. I came over, and when they got there, they got what they wanted, and I, asked if they wanted to go upstairs and snort a couple of them, and they were kind of hesitant, and when we went upstairs, they wanted to go in the other room. Well, I didn't know why or anything. Well, I was asked a few questions. They said, well, because they were going to, shoot them up. And I had never used a needle before. And that time, I had her shoot me with 2 Dilaudids that night. Well, that was awesome at that time. That was great. I loved it. From there, it was downhill, and after a while, those dried up, and I was still working at this time, and I needed the pills, the opiates, to get out of bed, to function, to do anything. I couldn't do anything without them. So after a while, I was missing work. I was using at work. Me and a guy that was working there, and I drove tow motor, so we were always driving outside and moving things from the warehouse to, I drove tow motor, so we were always putting stock away, unloading stock and all that. So it was a big area, and we had the pill man, he used to drive through and drop them off, and I'd buy him right off the damn tow motor. I wouldn't even get off the tow motor. I could buy him, stop right at the bathroom, do my thing in the bathroom, come out. This went on for a couple of months, and I just, every time I didn't find nothing before, couldn't have something before work, I didn't go. I couldn't do the 30, 40-minute drive to work without anything. I just couldn't do it. I could not do it. I probably could have, but I didn't want to do it. So needless to say, that job disappeared pretty quickly. So at that point, the girlfriend I had at the time, there were some other issues going on, and she moved out. And while she was moving out, there was this fake flower pot, or fake flower, that we had on top of our entertainment center, and I kept my bag of needles underneath that flower, on the bottom of that flower pot. Well, when she went to go move out, she grabbed that, and when I was pulling in that day, and she was packing all her stuff and putting it in the car, and when I walked past her car, I seen that flower pot in the back of her car. And I thought, aw, shit, because nobody knew I had any needles. I didn't have any reason to have any needles. Nobody knew I was doing that, except for the people that were doing it with me. And I knew she found them. And I went upstairs, and the bag was sitting right where the flower pot was, on top of the entertainment center, and it was over from there. She didn't want nothing to do with me, which I don't blame her. Yeah, it was all downhill from there. I had lost my job. I lost everything I had. I had 3 cars. Well, I had 2 cars, and she had a car. I had a nice apartment, nice things, computers. I had everything. At that time, I had a lot of nice stuff. And after a while, it depleted. I got introduced to heroin at that time because all the pills were so expensive. The heroin was so cheap. And I just continued on doing that. Every single day, we would, I don't know how, but we would always find the money to go do what we had to do every single day. Well, it got to the point where I wasn't paying my rent, I wasn't paying my bills, I wasn't paying anything, so everything just got shut off, one after another. Electric got shut off, gas got shut off, and Landlord was coming around asking for rent. I didn't have it. So he kicked us out. I had me and my buddy living with me. We used every day as much as possible. After that, I had to move back in with my mom, and it continued. It just stayed that way for a long time, and then eventually I met my wife now, and I did clean up for a little while. She didn't know I was using a needle. She didn't know exactly what I was doing, but I was living in one area, and then she would pick me up and take me up about 30 minutes away, and I'd go buy what I had to buy, stop at Circle K, use, and on the way back I was asleep the whole damn time. You know, she really didn't understand what I was doing. She didn't know exactly what I was doing, but she probably had a pretty good idea. So after a while, I remember we took this trip. We went through PA and up into New York State, stayed the night, and then we went down into New York City and then back all the way through PA back into Ohio, where I live. I live in Ohio. So in the meantime, I was sick. I got real sick. We stopped at a rest stop, and there was a Greyhound bus there, and I remember there was somebody outside smoking a blunt, and I asked them if they had any pills to get rid of, or knew of anybody that had any pills. Well, I got a Roxy that night, like a 30 milligram Roxy. My wife never knew what I was doing. She thought maybe I was, snorting them or taking them, or there wasn't really no getting away from it. Her seeing me do it that night. I was so sick I didn't care. I couldn't hardly even think straight, so I broke down a can, and I'm not going to go through the whole process. I did it right there in the car. Excuse me. She said, "That's it. You're getting off that shit." So when we got back, I took a few days. I used a bunch more and checked myself into a crisis center, and I stayed for probably 4 days. All they gave you there was some blood pressure pills, some Ultram, and a sleeping pill, I think, to help you sleep. I slept for like 3-4 days. It wasn't too bad, but I wasn't serious. I didn't really want to stop. I wanted everybody to think I stopped, but I didn't really want to stop. I loved it. I enjoyed everything I was doing. So once that, I left early, and I went home. We went to the hospital or something, got some Vicodin, and I actually weaned down with Vicodin, and I stopped for a little while. And it just started back up again. But when it started back up again, I put the needle down. I did not pick the needle back up again. But I continued to eat pills. I continued to snort pills. I continued to do everything I could do to get high, but I just didn't use a needle. I can't tell you why that happened. Can't tell you really exactly how it happened, but I did. I stopped using the needle. So it's probably been 7-8 years since I've used with a needle. And the story don't stop, but that's where I stopped with the needle. So then I found out, I've had a bad back for a long time, so, I've had pain issues, so I've always been able to get my own pain pills, and it's just been after, one doctor, after another doctor, after another doctor, after another doctor, and I'd say within the last year, 2 years, it's gotten really old. I've gotten tired of using, I've gotten tired of chasing it every day. I'm currently working. I've been there 3 years. I've been on and off. I've tried to quit on my own. It just wasn't working. I would get clean and past the sick point, and I just could never do anything that would interest me, or it would always felt like I had an empty space in me, and I could never fill it. Could never fill that empty space while I was sober. I'm still smoking pot. I've always smoked. I was I've always smoked pot. I loved smoking pot. I was always the person that told you I will die smoking pot, and I loved it. And that's pretty much up until now. And about 4-5 weeks ago, I stopped smoking pot, and it leads me up to where I am now. So I'm gonna make another part of this video. We're a little over 10 minutes, so this is part 2. I'm sure I might have missed a few things. Talking to the camera is a little bit new for me, so it's not like it could be. So I'm going to make another part 3 and bring you up to where I'm at now. And this time's different. This time is definitely different because this time I actually want to stop. And I've tried 3-4 times on my own, and it just hasn't happened. Just hasn't not happened. I can't fill that void. Don't know how any other way to explain it. It just seems like a void there that just can't be fulfilled. But that's going to be part 3. And again, this is a channel for you to see what I've been through, what I'm doing to get through, and there's no judgments here. If you see anything that you think might work for you, that's great. If you see anything that's like, oh no, that's not right, that's not going to work for me, I can't do that, that's fine too. Just I'm just here to tell my story and try to get through. So I will see you again in part 3, man. Peace.